Did I perhaps jump into medicine prematurely? Did I go into the wrong profession? Would I be just as happy working at an AI company? Hear me out. Don't cancel me. Don't cancel me yet. Let me explain. Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. Now, I know that the video title is a little aggressive. It's a little ostentatious, shall I say. And I actually don't think that I phrased it correctly when I'm thinking about it now. I think that I don't regret pursuing medicine. I don't regret the dedication that I have to the field. I really cannot envision myself as anything else but a physician. However, I feel like I am not a fan of the approach that I have had to the field. I wish that I would have broadened my horizons a bit more to understand exactly how to apply my medical degree outside of just clinical practice. And don't get me wrong, that's a lot of times when you'll ask people why do they want to be a doctor, the primary reason is the clinical application. That is the thing that they want to do. I've even had a classmate tell me that if it was up to them, they would practice until they were like 75. I mean, that wouldn't be me, but I get the sentiment of we have trained all this time to do this thing, so I'm going to dive fully into it and make sure that I'm getting my money's worth. I'm getting my training's worth. I respect that. Now, however, I feel like my perspective has drastically shifted in terms of how I envision myself using my medical doctorate because I've been out of school. Since being out of the curriculum, and I shared this in another one of my uploads where I discuss my general struggles of finding a job, I realized that my medical skill set is actually pretty fucking useless outside of a hospital system. Jobs do not care that you have medical schooling, okay? Like, if you ever thought about dropping out of medical school halfway and thinking that those number of credit hours are going to get you somewhere, they're not. They are looking for full-fledged attendings or at least a fourth-year medical student level knowledge whenever you see these other roles outside of, a hospital or a clinic. And that has been pretty frustrating because, y'all, 2 years of med school was absolute hell. I learned so much. I was so tired. What do you mean that the workforce has no need for my suffering? What do you mean by that? And so since I have been out of the curriculum, I have had to broaden my mindset and way of thinking in terms of what type of skill can I offer to the workplace. And most of my roles have been contract work, specifically contract work for LLMs, learning large language models, learning language models. Learning language models, I'm pretty sure. We're gonna go with that. So I've been doing a lot of work with these different companies, essentially just offering my different skill sets, my different areas of expertise, content creating, editing, etc., to different projects to help them with their AI models. And I'm realizing, wow, there is so much to be done in the realm of technology, specifically AI technology. And as controversial as it is, because don't get me wrong, it is not lost on me that there are Black communities, right? These are my people that are being polluted in their water due to the cooling systems necessary and needed for these large electrical systems. But as I get deeper into it and I'm actually talking to people in the field, I also understand some of the sensationalism that goes into new tech and some of the misunderstandings and misconceptions that people have, or at least the scale of them. And so I'm not really uncomfortable with the thought of working in AI, especially if it could be integrated into my interest of medical practice, which is exactly what I'm trying to figure out right now. My best friend is actually in the process of obtaining her master's for product management. And so we talk a lot about employing AI tools and coming up with our own models and what would we want the model to do and the difference between a general input model and an agentic model. She just told me that. That's new words for me, big words for Elmo. I have just found myself getting so excited about the idea of my continuous learning outside of pressure volume loops. Outside of even management, pain management, medical management, pharmacology, I have been so deeply interested to see what all can technology do. So I wouldn't say that I'm in the process of abandoning my passion to become a physician, but I definitely just don't think that the traditional clinical practice is where I'll stay for long. Or if I am in traditional clinical practice, it would have to offer me enough flexibility to explore the things that I want to explore. Now, I also think that this is God. Hey, if you don't believe in religion, specifically Christianity, I'm sorry I'm making you uncomfortable, but I don't believe in this level of coincidence. The fact that I switched my interest from orthopedic to PM&R, and PM&R doctors are the ones that more so work with functioning, neurologic testing. They do that as well. Prosthesis. They do a lot of prosthesis, a lot of adaptive sports. So this would be the people who compete at the Paralympics, right? There's a lot of things that are involved in the actual functionality of the human body via PM&R that works very well alongside my interest in tech. So I am excited because I know, for instance, in some of the upcoming conferences, they are hosting a lot of AI and tech kind of sub sessions, and I am going to dive into those because I really want to see, for people who know more than me and are exploring this intersectionality between tech and medicine, I want to see how I can contribute. I want to see what I can get involved in. I've even started a new project. Yes, y'all. Another research project, as if I don't have to wrap up like 3 other ones. But I know that this one's going to take me a minute to actually even flesh out into a decent proposal. I'm just excited. It's been a minute since I've been so enthused in my learning and in my understanding of my career prospects. And I think that that is a wonderful sign, because I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it was getting a little dicey. It was. After arguing with my school for what, like 12 freaking months, going through really bad mental health struggles for the entire 15, now what, I think it's been 16 since I've been out of the curriculum. The anxiety that I've been having about getting back on the horse when it comes to studying and applying myself in the clinic. Y'all, I had to walk through and make sure that I understood the components of the clinical exam still, or the physical exam. I had to go back over the whole thing. Like, okay, how do I administer the neuro and ENT section? How do I administer the cardiology section? Like, I was trying to list it off of the dome to make sure that I wasn't lacking in those kinds of skills, as well as going back over things like, you know, how to take a patient history, the basics of basics. I am so scared that I've lost that amount of knowledge, which I haven't, by the way. I was able to recall pretty much all of it, except for maybe 1 or 2 nuances, small things that I never even actually did on any of my standardized patients in the first 2 years of school. But just that kind of negative vibe. It was another type of negative vibe from the other negative vibes that I've already been feeling before. So the fact that now I can like smile and get excited, as I said, and sign myself up for stuff, I really am going to take advantage of it and make sure that I dive in deep to really figure this thing out. And who knows, my channel could launch itself to be a whole new type of look into medicine in the near future. Like, that would be so cool. This wasn't supposed to be a super long upload. I just wanted to come in here with my general thoughts about, again, how I see myself in my future of medicine, the things that I'm thinking about transitioning into, changing up, looking deeper around. And it's just so funny that even your worst season, your lowest of lows, can still offer you so many valuable blessings and lessons, things to learn or take away from. Because I promise y'all, I would not have this amount of time to consider any of this until like maybe my 4th year. And by then, I think that there is enough anxiety about just the general process of matching, okay? The general process of submitting the ERAS application. I could not imagine then questioning what type of medicine I truly want to practice and how to, you know, start up on it and get my hands demands into it. That would just be way too much to juggle all at once, especially because I do still plan to hold a majority of my leadership roles, if not expand them. I think something that I'm realizing about myself is that I do better when there are more demands of me that are of my own creation. I don't necessarily like being told what to do and given a bunch of grunt work. I like the ability to delegate. I love to delegate. I love to come up and innovate. I love to bring people in onto my thought process. I very much like being large and in charge. I do. Wow. Was the back of my hair flat? But y'all gonna tell me the truth? Okay. This is how I know it's time for me to go ahead and log off with my thoughts when I start doing random ADHD antics. I did a good job this time, y'all, of not talking while trying to wash my face. I just went ahead and just took off my makeup. Shameless plug. Take a screenshot. Okay? Because one thing about it, we're going to take care of our skin. We're going to take care of our teeth. We're going to take care of our physical health and our physical well-being. Okay? We're going to do all of that while we can before I have to sacrifice it to the grind. Sacrifice it to the grind that is my clinical rotations. I'm excited to go back. I really am. I hate that I sound like so, I don't know, apprehensive about it, but that's not what it is. I am just trying to have full awareness of where I am mentally and emotionally at all times, especially during transition periods, so that I never have to feel overwhelmed to that extent again in those like 15 months that I was going through absolute hell and torture. So yeah, okay, that was it. That was all. Please let me know down below if y'all have questions. Maybe you guys want to go on a day of contract work with me. Would you like a little vloggy vlog? I will try to share as much as possible, but for a lot of these companies, I did have to sign an NDA, so I can't do too much. I have to keep it cute. But I can at least explain the general context of what I'm doing and how I've gotten involved with these different companies. So I can do that. I can take y'all with me through some study with me type days. It's not really days. I'm only dedicating 2 hours per day, not even per day, 2 hours on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to catch up and get back on track with my studies. But if you guys want that, just let me know. I think that my content has been explorative so far in terms of what types of content I've been putting out, and I have noticed that the engagement has dipped. I've lost subscribers. I don't get as many views on my videos, and I'm not blaming y'all for that because I understand that, again, transition periods are just difficult to navigate, and it's also difficult to view and watch and may not be as interesting, and that's all right. But I do hope that you will at least let me know what it is that you do want to see from my channel as I'm navigating and learning things for myself. All right, that's it. That's all. I have a headache. I need to eat. Okay, bye.